Hello and welcome back, everyone. This is Sip and Still, your go-to space for real talk, real life, and a whole lot of love. I'm your host, T, and with me is my co-host,
Stephanie.
And we're here to unpack life's highs, lows, and the in-between sips. So pour something warm, get comfy, and let's get into it. And moving right along, we are going to go into our backstory brew with Stephanie.
All right, welcome to the Backstory Brew. Typically, I would give y'all a story, but we're going to skip this week and go to tea.
And we're going to skip the resilience reflection segment as well this week. And we will resume next week. And we're going to move right on along to our Sip of Our Day segment with Stephanie.
So welcome to the Sip of the Day. So what you been having going on, girl?
Oh, and I tell you, it has been an exhausting week, just exhausting period, mentally, physically, emotionally, just draining.
Right.
And you know what's wild is as adults, we still have to show up and give 100% at work. No matter what's going on, we still have to show up as parents, no matter what's going on. And okay, let me just speak to the ladies real quick, because this only pertains to the ladies. Can we talk about it, y'all?
Yes, we can talk about it.
The fact that we bleed every month, deal with cramps, bloating, headache, mood swings, fatigue, cravings, all of this, and we're still expected to smile, be productive, be nice, and keep it moving. Oh, and feminine. Yeah, we can't be too masculine. Meanwhile, all the hell I want is some chocolate with nuts, some chicken wings fried hard with a side of blue cheese, some nachos with jalapenos, a 6-pack of hot Krispy Kreme donuts, a Diet Coke, and some vanilla bean ice cream. And 2 uninterrupted PTO days or something. But is that really too much to ask for, y'all? Like, really?
Right. Can we get that on a regular?
Being a woman ain't nothing easy about it.
No.
But on a different note, I have been following the Nolan Wells and Daniel Irving case. And my heart truly goes out to those families. I am praying for strength, peace, and justice. And for any other families that are dealing with this and it hasn't been, brought to the public's attention. It's just so sad because there's so many findings every single day in both cases, and both cases are very similar. And it's just truly sad. I cannot wrap my head around certain things. As far as when I was growing up, I was taught that you come together, you leave together,
right?
Or whatever, whether that's friends, family, or whatever. If we come in the same car together, or we transition from on land to a boat and go somewhere, whatever, we all leave together. There's no leaving one behind. It's one band, one sound. So I really can't understand why cell phones were found in the possession of friends who left. Certain things got deleted. It's like you forgot your friend, but you remember that damn phone,
right?
And you remember to delete some shit. So it's just, I don't know, but I do want to circle back to this later because it's going to tie into
Become Atomic.
Later on. It's going to tie in. So later on the segment, I do want to circle back to it because I feel that it's going to lead to a much bigger conversation. So you, Missy, what's been going on with you this week?
Girl, I just been working and trying to get some relaxation in because it has been a busy week. It has been a busy few months, so
that is true.
And then Aiden's, of course, he's been at home. When does school start back?
Girl, I don't know. I ain't got no school age kids.
Girl, because I'm about to start spending money on that, and I'm like, Lord Jesus, help us.
Oh God,
right?
Help us all.
And then getting ready for our trip to Jamaica, and you getting ready for your cruise.
I am.
So we have to be traveling.
This is much needed. People don't understand what we have been through, just mentally and emotionally, and what we're still dealing with on a daily basis.
Right.
But we can't stop our life, and I'm so glad that both of us still continue to push through and book our vacations, our trips, because it's true. It's needed. It is needed. It's warranted. We need it. So kudos to us for pushing through everything that have gone through, are going through, and still finding time for some self-care.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know I made a vow to myself that I'm going to start traveling more. Like, I don't care how cheap the flight is or how long I'm going.
Girl,
I'm going to go.
Me
It's
too.
like, because I'm like, life is so short.
Ooh.
And like people are just leaving this world on a regular basis, and I want my kids to have some type of memory.
I know, that's right.
So I wanna get out more and do more with them. I don't want them to be like, yeah, my mom was a great person. She made sure she was there for us, but we have memories.
Absolutely, and experiences.
Yeah. So and not just local experiences, experiencing the world, because I want them to know there's something bigger out there.
Absolutely, I definitely agree. I can get with that. Yeah. I can stand behind that. Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's about it for me. So next we're going to transition into our main pour segment with tea.
Yeah, guys. Ooh, let's pour it up. So the topic of discussion for today is to be religious or not to be. So let me introduce this topic. Okay, so today's conversation isn't about telling anyone what to believe or to change anyone's mind. It's simply about having an honest conversation and asking questions that many people think about but don't always feel comfortable discussing. Right. And I really, really believe and feel that a lot of us grew up with beliefs that were passed down to us, Absolutely. Literally inherited. But as we got older, many of us began to question, to explore different perspectives, and to decide for ourselves what we truly believe. So whether you're religious, spiritual, agnostic, atheist, or still trying to figure it out, we invite you to listen with an open mind and an open heart. So, to be religious or not to be, let's sit and let's spill. Yeah. Let's get into it, y'all.
So, most of us didn't choose the religion we inherited. Once we became old enough to ask questions, did our belief system change or stay the same?
For me, I literally grew up believing what my parents and the community believe because that's all I've ever known. However, as I got older and started my own family, I realized I needed to ask my own questions instead of just accepting what was taught to me, what was told to me. Some of my beliefs stayed the same. However, a lot of them evolved because I wanted my faith to be personal, not just inherited, not what everybody else believed or told me what it was.
Right. Well, for me, I think definitely my faith has matured. As a child, I grew up being taught what, my family believed, and you were taught not to really ask questions. You have faith in what they're teaching you, that's the right thing. But as an adult, I definitely asked myself, what do I believe? Because I definitely experienced God for myself, and I don't think questioning is a lack of faith.
I don't either. And it's funny because whenever I was told not to question, and it's just because that made me more inquisitive. Like, don't question? Why not? Why?
Right.
Yeah. So, I guess we have about the same type of belief system in growing up.
So I don't think questioning is, I think it's also a part of growth. So
I do too. You should always question things. Like, you'd be a fool not to question, and you can't just go around believing every single thing that you're told or every single thing that you're taught.
Right.
Question everything. So why are so many people leaving organized religion but still calling themselves spiritual?
Well, I think a lot of people still believe in God, but I think they've been hurt by the people in these intuitions, right? And they aren't necessarily walking away from God, but they're walking away from the experience that don't reflect what we know as God's love.
So, I think people are literally looking for a genuine connection with God without feeling boxed into traditions or rules that don't reflect love. Absolutely what you said. And a lot of people, like you said, still believe in God and in prayer and in purpose. They're just questioning the systems, not necessarily their faith. Right. And as you should. So are people rejecting God? Are they, or do you feel that they're rejecting religious institutions?
So I think people are rejecting the organizations and the people that represent those organizations because of the judgment that people have experienced by these people. When, they're supposed to be a representation of God, frowning down on someone because they drink wine and you sit there and gossip about what the first lady had on Sunday, or at church on Sunday. So
Like, my sin is not as bad as yours, girl.
right. No sin is greater than the next.
Yes, and I also think that it's often the institutions. Too many people have been hurt by people representing God, as you said, and everybody seems to have the same story. They've experienced judgment, hypocrisy, manipulation, or abuse in the church. And it's easy to walk away from a building, even if you're still searching for God.
Because people actually make up the church. So.
They do.
So is following a religion the same as having a relationship with God, you think?
I don't think so. You can attend church every Sunday and still have a relationship with God. At the same time, someone can have a deep relationship with God and still be trying to figure it out where they fit in religiously. Religion can guide you at times, but it can't replace a personal relationship.
Absolutely.
That's what I feel.
So I don't think so, because religion is an organized system of beliefs and practices, right? And a relationship with God is personal and something that you're building on your own by reading scripture, prayer, and spending time with God.
Absolutely. I definitely
so
can
being
get
in
with that.
Being in the building doesn't, make a difference.
With that being said, do you feel that a person can be a good person without believing in God?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Someone's character isn't based on religious beliefs, right? So you can have morals and be kind and a loving person and not believe in God. And you can also believe in God and be a hellraiser too, and a murderer.
Girl.
So, hey.
Yeah, because being a good person and having faith are not always the same conversation.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, our church is becoming too focused on politics, money, and power.
There are some churches that do focus on money, politics, and power, but there are many churches in the community that are very vital to the community by creating bonds and helping the poor.
I like that. And I do feel that, not every church is focused on politics, money, and power. But there are enough that people are noticing and they're seeing.
And they're not giving back to the community.
They are not. They're giving back to their pockets and their
bank accounts.
And their car funds. Their
jet funds.
Jaguar fund.
And personal
their Bentley fund. Lord.
Does the behavior of some religious leaders make it harder to trust Christianity?
Yes, and I feel because leaders represent something bigger than themselves. Everybody is watching at all times. So when people see scandals, abuse, and hypocrisy, it absolutely damages them.
Yes, it can make it hard to trust them because we hold them at a higher standard. And we have to realize that they're people just like us. And they can make poor choices. I believe that we put our trust in man we are guaranteed to be disappointed.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's important that we have our own personal and spiritual relationship with the Creator.
Yep. All that you said, you put your trust in man, and you're not supposed to.
Can religion be used both to inspire and to control?
Heck yeah. I think religion has inspired people to love, forgive, and serve others. Unfortunately, though, on the back end, it's also been used throughout history to manipulate, control, and to shame people. And I feel that that's why discernment is so important.
Absolutely.
And one historical way that it has been used to manipulate is in this country is when slave masters used to preach to the slaves. And the way they would present the Bible and the scripture to the slaves is, if you do this, and that, and don't obey your master and don't do this, and this, you're going to go to hell and you're going to burn forever and things. So that is a form of manipulation right there.
Absolutely.
What this country was built on, quote unquote, Christianity.
Right.
That's the type of Christianity you want to follow? That's Christianity? That's God's love?
Right.
Sorry for my outburst, y'all. I'm just a little passionate. All right. Go ahead. You answer that question. I'm sorry.
So religion
Sorry.
So religion can definitely be used to control and inspire. It definitely depends on how you are taught and the message behind it. I know that religion is profoundly powerful and complex to the human mind. And we know that in history, as you said, with slavery, the Bible was used to control people, and it was used as a tool to make a group of people feel more superior over the other.
And was and
So,
still is.
yeah.
Period. So if God is so loving, why do some people experience religion through fear, guilt, or shame?
I think a lot of people have been taught more about punishment versus grace.
Ooh.
And God may correct us, but He doesn't want us to live with fear and shame.
Mm.
That's not what being in a loving relationship looks like.
Mm.
And with love, correction can exist.
Girl, and healthy faith can challenge you to grow, but it shouldn't leave you feeling worthless.
Absolutely. Why do some believers judge certain sins while overlooking others?
Girl, because we're human, and it's easier to point out someone else's struggles than confront your own.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
I think that all of us have blind spots, and sometimes people focus on the sins they don't struggle with while minimizing the ones they do.
Girl, yeah, absolutely.
Ooh,
So I think believers sometimes judge certain sins while overlooking others due to the cultural condition and human psychology and how they measure an offense, just like you said, basically. So we know that Jesus condemns judgment, so this can cause tension within the religious and Christian faith. There's a difference between holding one accountable and passing judgment.
Yeah.
And as you stated, it's easier to point out somebody else's wrong while overlooking your own.
And that's the truth. Okay.
And that's because we don't perceive it as it wasn't bad enough.
Yeah. Right.
Quote unquote.
So if two pastors preach opposite messages from the same Bible, who decides who's right?
I think that's an interesting question. So I think it's very important to have your own relationship with God, right? And read your Bible for yourself.
Study.
And to pray for wisdom and understanding. I don't want my faith to solely depend on the teachings of another man. And our spirit often tells us what feels right when we hear it. And we have to trust that, especially if you understand God and His love for His people.
You have got to study for yourself. You have got to read, pray, ask questions, and seek understanding for yourself. You can't blindly just accept someone else's interpretation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's... I know some people who really, really just depend solely on pastor said, pastor says. Well, the pastor's going to hell, gasoline draws on.
Right. He can't keep his pants up.
There you go. Oh, God. Oh, God. If God used imperfect people to write scripture, does that strengthen or weaken its credibility?
Well, that's a great question. I think it strengthens the credibility because not one person is perfect in the Bible. And God shows His power through using those people that are called for His purpose to show His glory. That allows us to see that even in our flaws, we still have purpose in our call. And if God can use Moses, why can't He use me? We all have a purpose in the calling. Period.
The Bible's full of flawed people.
Every one of them was flawed.
So if your beliefs were challenged tomorrow, would you search for the truth or defend your tradition with what you have learned or know or were told? How about that?
I think I would search for the truth. If you have strong faith, you shouldn't be afraid to ask questions for clarity. And it's possibly could educate you if it's something that you didn't already know.
I'm going to always search for the truth because I need some supporting documents and supporting evidence behind what I have, my findings.
Right.
I need to be able to cite where I found this from.
Right. And everything that we originally believe is not always right. So
that is,
if somebody challenges us, we should be able to go and research and find out if that's true or not. So.
Because there's several times that I've challenged some people and they ain't opened no book not one time. Just because my right foot.
It's that faith. You got to have faith in what I'm saying.
Girl, exactly. Blind faith? No, we're not doing that over here. No. So what's one belief you changed your mind about and why?
I've become less focused on religion and its checklist if I'm doing this right, that right. I'm more focused on having a relationship with God and allowing His convictions to tell me what am I doing right and what I'm doing wrong. it's not, faith is just not about what happens on Sunday. It's about how you live on an everyday basis.
That's good. That's good. I like that. I've changed my mindset on thinking that religious automatically means someone is close to God. Because who child? I've learned that someone can know all the scriptures, attend every service, and still lack compassion. Character matters just as much as knowledge.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. So is faith about certainty, or is it about continuing to seek?
I definitely feel, for me, faith is about continuing to seek. I don't think that asking questions weakens faith. I feel it deepens it. So, how about you? Is faith about certainty or about continuing to seek for you?
I think it's a little bit about both. On one hand, I'm confident that there are things that I'm still learning. I don't think having questions mean that your faith is weak, like you said. I think it continuing to seek God is a part of growth in your faith. So,
all right.
But I want to say in closing this out, whether you're deeply rooted in your faith, you're still searching, questioning, or what, somewhere in between, our hope isn't to tell you what to believe. It's simply to have an honest conversation about the role that faith plays in our lives and to hear your perspectives too.
Absolutely. I say absolutely so much.
Me too.
All right. So we're going to roll right over into our last sip segment with Stephanie. Girl, take it away. Take it away. Calgon, take me away.
So before we wrap this up, it's time for our last sip. This is where we ask each other a surprise question. No one knows what is coming. So here we go. I'll ask first. So what's the funniest or most questionable thing that has ever happened to you during a church service?
Yeah, I love this surprise question segment, but I don't like it in the same breath because the one thing I'm going to do is tell the truth.
And the truth ain't always fair.
It's going to have y'all passing judgment on me. I'm going to make this story real quick. Okay. One of the deacons, when I was heavy into church, one of the deacons was trying to court me. Okay. I didn't mind. I was young, very, very, very young, and I was cool with it. So me and him went to dinner, all this other good stuff. It was fun. It was very fun. Everybody in the church knew, that we were, schmitten with each other or whatever. Just this is cute. Yeah. And and this was my first light skinned. So anyway, that being said, he became distant, right? Now my car was in the shop at one time and he let me use his car, everything, y'all. He was a gentleman, gentleman. And I was like, okay, maybe I can get with this light right thing. Okay. Because I've always been attracted to the chocolate men. Okay. So one day on a Wednesdays are Bible studies, having Bible study. But first we had choir rehearsal before and I was in the choir. So we're praying and everything, and he's not there. Mind you, he called me. He told me he was coming and everything or whatever, so he's not there. So we're transitioning from the choir to Bible study. So we lead it off in a prayer, right? So next thing you know, we're in a circle. I'm right here. He walks up, and behind him is a girl, and he's holding her hand.
Oh, damn.
Now, y'all, this is before the big, dating exclusively and Dayton was in. No, we were an item, right? So we're praying or whatever, and I see this, y'all, and I'm like, I didn't know what to do. Everybody's done praying, and I look up, and he locks eyes with me, and y'all, I went to the middle of the circle, and in my head, I'm like, okay, you already know you about to punch him, but she's probably going to end up punching you for hitting him, so you got to punch her too. So it was a left, right. Well, a right, left. It was boom, boom, both of them. And then the deacons grabbed me. Sister Perry, you can't hit no. Oh, my God. Like, the pastor came out. Sister Perry, to my chambers now. And I was like, God, I'm in trouble. Shit. Yes, I was at all this in the church. My mom and my stepfather was outside, talking to the pastor's soon-to-be wife. He's like, Sister Perry, You can't do that. I was like,
Oh my God. He couldn't do that either.
now that wasn't a funny moment
At the time.
at the time. It's kind of funny now because when I seen them afterwards, because they were both light skinned, they both had lumps and knots on their heads. Nobody pressed charges on me, and I didn't go to jail or anything. They did sit him down as a deacon. Oh, the church was in an uproar over this because they knew that he was talking to me.
Mhm.
You know, we would go to events together and everything, and everybody's, oh my God, you guys make such a beautiful couple. And we did. It was cute until it wasn't cute.
Sorry.
And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I stand beside it.
Oh, man.
I'm so ashamed, y'all. Oh God, I'm ashamed.
Well, mine is not as funny.
But I'll do it again. Sorry. Okay.
Well, mine is not as funny as hers. I was a little girl, and my mom was obsessed with Benny Hinn. I don't know if you know who he is.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so he's big on healing people in the audience and this and that and the other. So we went to a conference down in Atlanta, and we stayed at the Marriott. That's when it was really, really, really nice. Oh my God, it was so beautiful inside there. And so she went in there, and she had me stay in the room, but of course, me being a little girl, I was being nosy. And I went down there, was peeking in, watching the service. And of course, he was laying hands on people in wheelchair. Now they can walk, and stuff like that. So, and I thought it was true, but kind of find out they paid them people.
He had them healing hands.
I was like, I know that in the Bible, God bless people to be able to heal, but you going to every city, I just no, I don't believe that. So, yeah, that's my story.
He did like this.
Yeah.
In my hands.
Yeah, and they can walk again.
Yeah.
So, I know we were talking about religion and church and stuff, so I kept the questions around that. Have you ever fallen asleep doing service?
And I even fell asleep sitting in the pews. I mean, up in the choir. Sure have. I was tired, and that pastor was monotone, and I was tired.
Oh,
I was tired.
Yeah, them monotone, just like they're kind of like me. So monotone will put you to sleep, and I have fallen asleep as well, and even snored a little bit. And I had to, sister, wake up,
Stephanie. You snoring again?
Not bad.
Oh Lord, I can't, girl. I can't. I don't know. I don't think anyone has never. Maybe somebody, but listen. I'm gonna take a nap. I'm gonna take a nap. So my question is not as funny. It's more serious, and it is reverting back to when we talked about what have we done this week, or do we want to share anything? And I started talking about the 2 cases that are in the media and things like that. So what I want to ask Stephanie is, as a mother, are there certain do's and don'ts you've taught your children to help them navigate the world? And do you feel or think that race plays a role in this conversation? But hold on, just hold that thought, because I want to say this. I know that some people will ask, why bring race into it? And what I'm going to say is, because for many families, race isn't something we have the luxury of ignoring.
Absolutely.
It's a part of the reality our children have to navigate. So whether people agree or not, race does influence many parents' decisions about conversations they have to have with their babies. And that's not about creating division. It's about preparing them for the world as it exists. So again, my question to you is, as a mother, are there certain do's and don'ts you've taught your children to help them navigate the world? And do you think that race plays a role in those conversations?
So absolutely. As a Black mother, there are conversations that I've had with my sons that I don't know if every parent has to have with theirs. And I want to reiterate that I have Black sons, right? Not just girls and boys or whatever. I have Black boys. And it's mostly like respecting authority, being mindful of your surroundings and who you go out with. I feel like that's very important. That doesn't even just include race. That includes like demographic wise.
Absolutely.
So there are certain areas that they can't go in at a certain time. it's been in the South, we have sundown towns. I mean, what is it called?
Sundown towns.
Yeah, sundown towns. And you shouldn't, wouldn't advise my kids to go up there at all. You know, and even though they might have friends in those areas, I'm like, no, baby, because at the end of the day, that's not where you need to be.
No.
Right. So, and it stems from being treated unequal even till this day because of the color of our skin.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm teaching them to see everyone as individuals, right? And I don't want them to grow up feeling bitter and fearful because they're of a different color.
Absolutely.
They deserve to live a happy life, but with caution.
Absolutely.
And I want them to be aware of the world and still enjoy life and believing that there's still good people out there because of it.
I can support everything that you just stated. And even though I don't have two boys, I have a son and a daughter, I still have to teach my daughter the same as I teach my son, because females are out there getting treated the same way. Cops are not only, you know, targeting Black young men, they're targeting Black young women and women too. So I have the same exact conversation with both my children, boy and girl, that you have with your sons. And I applaud you for that, because there are a lot of people who want to ignore the reality.
Right.
And the reality is the reality. You know, for me, I have all types of different types of friends, you know, and diverse friend groups. And if I was going around a certain friend group and I knew that there were certain people that they were around that didn't particularly care about a certain type or a certain race, and I was bringing that race around, oh, we're not going there.
Right.
We're not. And it's just, some people would still do it, you know, and not think nothing of it. That's not a real friend.
Right.
If you're coming with me, I'm watching your back. I'm watching out for you or whatever. In all ways, ain't nothing going down. Not over here, not this party, not in my house, you know, or not where we're going. And if there's some hatred there towards my people, then guess what? That's hatred towards me too. And we out of here. We're not coming. However, back to the point though, everything that you said, I can attest to and I can stand behind and support. So
I kind of want to like bring up a situation too, because we're talking about like, are there certain conversations that we have with them? And like, I remember my mom telling me, like, when she grew up, that her mom would tell her, like, hey, when you're walking down the street, you have to change sides of the street. We see a white person coming. Don't look a white person in the face. Don't stare at them too long. This and that, you know, that type of stuff. And like, that still plays a part to today.
It does. Some people still have that mentality.
Yeah, especially the older people that they will see you coming. And they will look at you and expect you to move when you see them coming. And
I'm not.
If I'm there first, you better move aside, right? So, and if you don't, then
you're gonna get this like, young shoulder,
right? And I'm like, excuse you. So
that part.
We're not the same people as we were as the people that were going coming up.
No,
so.
You only get respect from me if you give it. Like respect is given. I'm not just. Like, no, we're not doing that. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I'm not afraid to speak up. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
We bleed the same color.
Absolutely.
And when we die, we die. We end up the same way.
The sidewalk is for me just as much as it is for you.
It don't have white or black or Asian or Jamaican or anything split down the middle. It doesn't, none of that.
No.
It's all equal.
And my shoulders are strong. I be lifting.
You're gonna shoulder check.
I'm gonna shoulder check somebody. Shoulder check them.
Check them across the street. Shadow kick them.
That part, girl. That part. Oh Lord.
Okay. All right. So that brings us to the end of our last sip, and now we're going to transition into our sip of wisdom, T's favorite.
It is. It is. And the only reason it's my favorite because it's the what did you learn? I love learning. I love learning. I love learning. So Stephanie, what did you learn? Or what? Yeah, what did you learn? Or what would you like to share? How about that?
So basically, what I want to say is don't let someone's imperfect representation of God keep you from seeking Him for yourself and developing a personal relationship with Him. Remember, questioning your faith doesn't weaken it. Sometimes it's how your faith grows deeper.
For you religious people.
Yeah.
Well, this week's conversation reminded me of something important, guys. We all see the world through different lenses. Some look through faith, some look through pain, some look through race, some look through experience. None of us have lived the exact same life, so we don't and we won't all arrive to the exact same conclusion.
Absolutely.
The goal shouldn't be to make everyone think alike. The goal should be to understand each other a little better than we did yesterday.
Absolutely.
Period. Now it's time to say goodbye to all our company. It's time for the final sip with Stephanie, y'all. Go ahead.
So, unfortunately, this brings us to the end of today's sip. Thank you for joining us on Sip and Spill. Please comment, like, subscribe, follow, and share. We hope this conversation gave you something to reflect on. Keep sipping, keep spilling, and we'll see you next time right here on Sip and Spill with T and Steph. Peace.
Oh.